Hey guys, it's Angela at Harmony Hall in Riverside, Restoration Harmony, and of course to Restore You. And today I am going to be sharing with you a little mini session on card making. And I have to tell you that this is totally off the cuff, totally unplanned, and not at all what I expected it to be like. So if you have been tuning into some of our videos, you know that on February 14th, we are launching our first virtual workshop, which is mindful journaling. It will be 7 sessions of really cool opportunities for people to learn how to make it a habit, excuse me, to learn how to do several different techniques. And one of the things that I talk about is no matter what you do, whether it's in the arts and crafts arena or whatever it is that you might want to do, you need to all find your passion. And creativity is one of mine. And so one of my affirmations and mantras this year is to create something every day. So that's what I decided to do. I also have said I need to consistently be inconsistent, but always be vulnerable and transparent with what I do. And I will tell you that today you are going to get it all. So what you've just watched is me making some envelopes and thinking that I was doing a time lapse. Well, it isn't a time lapse. So I had to improvise, and therefore I am doing for the first time ever a voiceover. And I don't really know how to get rid of what's on my screen so that I can actually see what I'm talking about, but we're just going to kind of roll with it. And it's one of the things that I always am aware of is that if I'm not being transparent and vulnerable and learning along with everyone else that's watching, then I'm not being my authentic self. And this is my authentic self getting real. So the first thing that we are going to be doing is what I thought was going to be just a heart little fun watercolor. And I want to tell you that we will be doing some art classes and workshops, and one of those will be just like free flow, exactly what you're seeing here, which is just getting colors and markers and putting them on a paper and seeing what they do and then making something into them. And I did, in this one, have just a little bit of an idea that I wanted it to be a heart. But while you're watching this, I will share with you some of the tools that I'm using. Right now, I'm using a Chocola watercolor pen, which are fantastic. And it usually comes with a couple of water brush pens as well. So those are amazingly awesome. I also later on will use some Tombow pens that are always a must in my arsenal of art products. But you'll also see right now that I am using, and I don't even know how to say it, but I'm just going to say it like I kind of want to say it. And it's Aim High Arts Colors, and it's AEH space HI Arts. And those are the watercolors that I'm using today. But Aim High just sounds pretty cool. So you will also see that I will be using the Fine Touch watercolor pencils. So those are the things that you're going to see in most of the art process of this. So if you're wondering, those are the things that I am using. I'll mention a couple others as we go. And it's kind of funny because I am at the acreage, which I don't have my whole plethora of fun. So I put my stuff in a Dixie cups and solo cups and made it work. But one thing I want you guys to consider is that there is no one right way to do this, and just kind of go with it. Like, there was nothing that I was doing that was planned other than I knew that eventually this would become a heart. And if you noticed well, you'll notice it a lot because I used it a ton. There is a blow dryer in play. So that is one thing that if you want to hurry things along, you can use. And I will tell you that blow dryer is only used by one person in this family, and that would be Dave. because the other five of us do not ever use it. So the fact that I'm using it for our projects is kind of humorous, but hey, the dude's got great hair, so what can you say? A couple of other things that I would say about watercolors that is important is that they are very forgiving if you let them be. So let them bleed into each other. See where it ends up. If you can tell, and some of those times that I blow dried those things, it is incredibly different than what I had originally planned. And that's okay. It actually looks really, really awesome. So as we're going through this, and I don't even know how far along we are in the process of that beautiful heart, but I did use some gel pens at the end that you won't see. And I don't have the name of those gel pens at the moment, but I will get those and I'll put them in the comments for all of you to see. But I just think that I don't know. I've said it since I've taught sales that there's something really, really special about sending a handwritten note, and even better if it's something that is created by you or your kids or whomever. And it brings me a lot of joy to know that I'm not just sending a little note that says, hey, thinking about you, I love you. And, I hope you appreciate this little card. I'm actually taking the time to make something from my heart and my soul that really makes an impact. And I hope somebody sticks it on their fridge or, puts it somewhere special or uses it as a bookmark or whatever they want to just remember that I'm in their thoughts. And, if it's a really cool message that they kind of look back on that and ponder that every single day as they're journaling or they're taking on their day, I think it's just a really special touch. And I think there's a long lost art of that. And I try to teach my kids that all the time. Like, hey, when you get a gift, you need to send a thank you note. It means a lot. And all we get is junk mail. It's a lot of junk mail. So getting something that's handwritten, and let me tell you, people recognize it, that, oh my gosh, it's something handwritten, and I want to open that and be surprised. So there you have it. We're coming around to the end of the heart demo, I believe. A couple things that I used, if you didn't notice, and I will be using, around the edges, and I don't think I've started that yet, but there I go. Look at that, like on cue. I have started to use the Close to My Heart stamp pads, and these come in like a stack. And I have to tell you, I'll put a link in for all the Close to My Heart products. They are one of the best. I've never used anything any better, but I've been using them for so long, I'm not so certain that that specific stack that I'm using is still, it may be retired, but there are lots and lots of them that you can use. And I also used a retired stamp set from Close to My Heart to put the stamp on the bottom at the end. So what we're getting into now, this is where I'm just going to say it. When I think I have something really planned, and Dave and I talk about this a lot when we're talking about renovations, this is where the shit show starts. I really did have a good idea about what I was going to do, and I just wanted some really bright free flow colors, and I wanted to make this into some kind of floral, right? And it went pretty good for quite a while. And one of the things that you'll see is that on the left, I'm using the watercolor paints, and they're in a squeeze tube. And while it looks like I have tons of paint on there, it is so minute you would not even believe it, because watercolors don't need a lot to show their true gradient, and you can really thin them out to make a lot of different layers. And there's probably, I practice probably 20 to 25 different techniques when I use watercolors. And so you would be surprised at how much you can get out of one little palette of paint. But it may look like there's a lot. There's not. It would be almost equivalent to probably the tip of an eraser for each one of those colors, if that. So what I am doing is I'm bleeding out a lot of those colors, and I'm putting a lot of water on first. So it's called wet on wet. So when those colors start to absorb together, they kind of bleed and come into their own shape. And this is one of the best ways, if you want to try watercoloring, that you can actually learn. Just start playing around with water and the paints and letting them take shape and take form however they want. I did have a little bit of an idea. I knew that I was hoping that as I kept developing this and it built upon each other, that there would be some kind of natural flower shapes that I could kind of refine and help pop out for my end result. But you don't really need to. If you just want to do an abstract and then you'll see at the very end, there'll be an example of an abstract in the back, and then I just painted on some flowers on the top. That works as well. The other thing that you are seeing at the very moment is those fine touch watercolor pencils. And once you've put water onto paper, those get darker and darker, and you can really refine some of those colors as well. So that's kind of a cool thing to do. I'm just going to let this play for a minute, and I will share just a couple of updates. So I mentioned our February 14th launch of the Mindful Journaling Workshop. It is $40. There's also an additional $40 of free gifts that I have provided to all of those that decide to join us. I am looking for 5 ambassadors to help test and give us feedback before that launch on February 14th. I will be posting that on Instagram and Facebook. But if journaling is something you've wanted to try, maybe you wanted to learn some new techniques, please reach out to me. Like I said, we would love to have you. As an ambassador, we don't ask a lot. We ask that you have a really good following, that you share your feedback, share our posts, and share the actual enrollment opportunity, and that is about it. But there's lots of cool bonuses that you get for being an ambassador for our launch. And of course, you are a founding member. We also have a VIP group that you are welcome to join as well, especially for those of you who have registered for our courses. So we'll talk about that a little bit more later. But that's kind of what's going on with To Restore You. And a little background is that we decided, Marie and I, who is my creative director with me, we decided that all of the cool things that we had planned, and we had some really cool things planned for last year, that because they didn't come to fruition, for many reasons, as you guys are probably well aware, we decided that everything that we do in 2021 will have a virtual component. And if we're able to do those live at our venue at Harmony Hall in Riverside, we will absolutely do so. But we want to make sure that people get to enjoy the fun and the excitement and see all of the workshops and the different DIYs that we're doing, not only to restore you, but and not only in mindfulness and finding your creativity and innovation and all of those things, but just for you to find time to just be. And for me, it's really, really calming to watch things like I'm watching right now, and it's myself actually painting a painting, but it's therapeutic for me. And I hope that you guys can all find your passion and find your joy, maybe in one of the workshops that we do, some of our sources that we have, and definitely with our partners, because we have some amazing partners that help us along the way. I I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I have missed. I don't think so. However, what you are now probably witnessing is the the shit show, as I say, about to unfold. Because what I did is let all of this dry. It looked fantabulous. And we came up to the point where I was like, okay, I want to make this into a greeting card, right? So what could I do that was really special? And I decided I found a really cute stamp. I cannot remember what it says at the moment. I've had to seclude myself into my master bedroom because the guys are all watching football. Go Kansas City, by the way. Sorry, anybody who's not a KC fan. But I decided that I would just put a little stamp on there. And when I got to that point, I tested it out and it worked perfectly on my mat. And it was an epic fail once I got it on to my card. So you'll see it in a moment. But what I want to tell you all is, and this is something that as many workshops as I've taught, whether it's been with adults, males, females, anyone, the kiddos are the ones that have the hardest time with it. So if they're working on something and they have a vision and it doesn't turn out exactly how they had it in their mind, they get very, very frustrated. And so one of the things that I try to share with them, and I hope that it emulates to all of us, is that mistakes are awesome, because then you have an opportunity to make something new and beautiful out of what you made a mistake at in the first place. And as you go through this, you're going to see that my mistake was a big one, because it was like on a big chunk of, this little tiny piece of paper, which is probably, maybe 3 inches by 4 inches at the most, to go into those little handmade envelopes that I made. But I was using ink. So ink is permanent. And no matter what I did, unless I put a new piece of paper over it, it was not going to go away. So I always tell people, like, embrace the beauty in the mess. Like, if it's bad, embrace it. There's something that you can do always to make it better, whether it's in life, whether it's in art, whether it's in what you've said. You can always make something better by just embracing the fact that you own that something didn't happen the way that you wanted, or you didn't say something the way that you wish you had. You can always fix it. And one of the ways that you can fix it is just by being honest with the fact that, hey, I screwed up. It kind of sucked. And the second is, I've learned by that mistake and probably not going to do it again. And the last thing is, what can I do better? How can I make it better next time? Like, what could I have done when I screwed up this painting today? Or what could I have done when I was having that conversation with my best friend that could have made it a little bit better and maybe not hurt somebody's feelings or not made somebody angry? So it's in life in general, but I think that for me, I learned most of my lessons on how to be forgiving, how to embrace being vulnerable, embrace being passionate, and kind of finding my true self through the arts. Everybody finds it in a different way, but it kind of just goes, filters in and out of life in general. So here we go. If you haven't noticed yet, I've got that stamp ready, and then I decided, I think I'm going to add a little extra to it, which was really cute. I'm glad I did it. And those stamps, again, like I said, were close to my heart stamps, which are the very best. This was a fail on my part, because if you see in a moment, I'm going to stamp it. Oh, I already did and screwed it up, didn't I? Nope. There you go. So I stamped it on my mat just to see how it looked. And then I stamped it again, and it looked fabulous. And then I stamped it on here. And I moved, you can't even tell, but I just a little bit moved my paper, and it turned out horrible. So now I'm erasing it all. And you can still, I know you probably can't see this, but from what you're looking at, but you can really see those letters. And it's like in a brownie gold. So I decided to capitalize on bringing in some really dark color, and not planned. But as you see this unfold, I think you'll notice that those dark colors, that really deep blue and that really bold red together, kind of grounded the whole painting in general. And then I, at the end, will be adding a couple of stickers, because there was a couple spots that I wasn't really loving and happy with. So Tim Holtz has some really cool stickers, and they're all quotes, and they're just like really tiny quotes, and you get your money's worth, because there are pages and pages, and they're probably, not even a quarter of an inch wide. But they look so fabulous on different pieces of mixed media. And so I decided what was originally going to be just a watercolor, decided that I would add a couple of things and make it a little bit of mixed media. And I'll share some pictures and photos afterwards. But again, I think that there's a lot of really cool things that you can do with just taking time, whether it's just writing things in a journal and free-flowing it, whether it's reading a book and talking to somebody about it, whether it's going out and volunteering for something, and maybe being a little scared or vulnerable about any of those things. It doesn't have to be the arts, but in the end, I think that there's a very peaceful moment that you can spend, if you just take a time to be mindful and to recognize all the things around you that have helped you in that experience, no matter what it is, that in the end, things are going to come out pretty amazing, even if they're crappy or if it's a shit show, like I said. It will be great. So with that, I am going to tell you a couple of last things, because it looks like I have more time to kill. If you haven't followed us already, please do so. You can follow us at Meet the Shrods on Instagram if you want to follow Dave and I and all of our crazy shenanigans. And we also post everything that is happening at Harmony Hall, at City View Dental, at Restoration Harmony, and all of those other fun businesses that we've got going on. At Harmony Hall in Riverside, Olivia and Marie are rocking it, and so they have lots of cool things for you to see. All of our vendors are showcased there for our farmers market, for our seasonal shows, all of those things as well. So you don't want to miss that either. And then, of course, at Harmony Homes 14, which is Restoration Harmony, that's where all of our flip houses are happening, all of our custom builds, all of the good stuff and design ideas and tips can be found. So you have lots of opportunities to follow us. I will tell you, if you follow at Meet the Shrods, you will be able to link to all of those. And in all of our bios on Instagram, you can click on our link tree, and those will be there as well. And as we close today, I just want to, again, thank you for joining us, for supporting our small business. And just remember, take time, be creative, be inspired, be mindful, take a big, huge breath, 2, 3, or 4 if you need to. And most importantly, take time to just be. Until next time, my friends, I wish you all of the best and a fantastic week ahead of you. And I look forward to seeing you. Cheers.